going on, guys, and welcome to today's video, and welcome to literally night one with our new JL. Now, why you are seeing this out of order is because I've partnered up with JlUR.com, which is a catch can oil separator company that makes very, very quality products for Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, Toyota, Nissan. Just get on their website and look. I will obviously have a link down in the description. But like I said, this is night one. This is the first night I drove our new JL home. So this is back in time from what you guys have already been seeing videos on this thing. You'll probably notice that there are a few parts and pieces on this Jeep that we have already pulled off in previous videos. So it's going to look very weird, but that is because this is literally the first mod I am doing to the JL here. I'm getting ready to throw on JlOSC's oil catch can on this thing. So I thought I would show you guys, obviously, the install so you can see how super easy it is. But the cool thing about them, they don't just want to see, make a cool install video. They actually want you guys to be able to see results. So I'm going to throw this thing on. I'm going to show you guys the odometer, and then I'm going to be daily driving my new daily driver. And then I'll actually be able to make this video and get it posted after I've got 500, 1,000 miles or so on this thing. And I can pull the can off and show you guys how quickly these things make oil in the PCV valve system. So guys, like I said, when I knew I had this thing ordered, I immediately reached out to JlOSC and said, hey guys, I've got a Wrangler coming in. What do I need to do to get this thing protected? What are my options? And they do have a few options for the 3.6 Wrangler Gladiator, that engine platform. And the thing that I really like about their product is the factory connectors. I'm a big OEM Plus guy, so I like stuff that kind of doesn't really look aftermarket and looks very factory under the hood, and that's what I think this is. All of these connectors are just OEM style evap or purge system style connectors, and it works just like factory. So I like the fact that my mod looks very factory under the hood. Again, you do have a couple of color choices. This is the black anodized, and then they have a silver or clear anodized version of this thing. I went with the black just to kind of blend in better under the hood. Last but not least, when I reached out, they said, hey, this thing's got a 3.6. You're absolutely going to want the extended can or reservoir option for this thing. So normally when you throw one of these on, and in some cases the extended reservoir isn't going to fit in your application, so make sure you check with them. But the normal can is I believe 3-ounce can. You can then thread on their extension and make it a 6-ounce can, and they said, yeah, for the 3.6 you're absolutely going to need the extension here. So we are 6-ounce oil catch can, and I'm gonna show you guys throwing this thing on, like I said, and then I'm gonna get some miles on it, and then we'll pull the can and see how much stuff is already in this thing. All right, guys, I guess real quick, let's look at the odometer on the fresh Jeep here. So here is literally night one at 43 miles on the odometer. I drove the thing around a little bit at the dealership and then it came home. So we are at 43 miles on this thing. So just keep that in mind later on in this video when we are showing you, what our mileage is at when we actually are checking the oil catch can. All right, guys, so for install, the first thing we're going to be doing is removing the factory PCV valve hose, which goes from the intake manifold all the way back down to the PCV valve on the back of the right or passenger valve cover. These again have really nice push connectors here that you just push down on this tab and pull. So guys, here you can see that hose, and we can follow it around and all the way back here is the other end of that hose with the same style connector. Now guys, last but not least, this hose here does go onto a little plastic clip, which is actually on a metal bracket. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull the metal bracket since it isn't really going to serve a purpose here with our hose gone and out of the way. Now guys, I guess I should mention, some of you are going to have a engine cover on your vehicle. They did away with the engine covers in like 2022 and a half or 23 and a half, and no longer are throwing engine covers on. So if you've got an engine cover, you're gonna have a couple of 10mm bolts here, and then you can take those out and pull the engine cover, and then you'll be left with what we're looking at here. So guys, now that you've got the ends of the hose unhooked on each side, and either you unclip the hose from the bracket, or like I've done, just unbolted the bracket, you can start to fish this hose out from underneath some of these hoses here in the back. So guys, in my case, I had a couple of wiring clips that were clipped onto this hose kind of near the back of that valve cover that I needed to get unclipped before this thing would weave its way out of there. But once that was done, it came out very, very easily. And as I'm already looking, this Jeep has 43 miles. The PCV valve, if you guys can see, literally already has oil in this thing. There is a drop of oil right there. So to get our catch can installed here, we are first going to get these two nuts on our coolant reservoir pulled off so we can get the hose routed correctly. And again, once those are off, you can just lift this up and then it will kind of fall forward. Okay, now we are ready to actually start installing. We've got a long hose and a short hose here. The long hose we are going to get, again, tucked behind our coolant reservoir. And there's actually a nice little spot for it to live below this plastic wiring harness here. And now the can is actually going to mount with a 10mm bolt here on the body rail fender area. There's a existing nutsert here on the body that is going to thread itself down into. And again, once we got that hose behind, we're able to get our coolant reservoir set back into place. We'll get our nuts on and tighten down. So like I said, our long hose is going to travel all the way back over here. And again, with factory style connectors, it is going to clip right onto the PCV valve. So once you've got the hose clipped onto your PCV valve, that oil catch can hose is going to just lay back really nicely back there along the firewall and then behind that coolant jug. And then last but not least, we've got our short hose, which again, obviously connects to our intake manifold here. And again, just factory style connectors, which makes somebody like me really excited. Now last but not least, we will get our 10mm bolt tightened down here. And guys, just like that, we've got our oil catch can installed. Now this will take you like very little time. The engine cover, again, I didn't have to pull off since I don't even have one because I'm too new of a Jeep and they started pulling parts off of these things. But yeah, engine cover off. We've got our hose connection here. We've got our hose connection there. Again, it's going to have a clip here that you can either remove the bracket or whatever, or just take the plastic clip off. And then again, it's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt here where all of these heater hoses and stuff are, because there are a couple of wiring clips down here that are holding that tube in place. So once you get all that out of the way, the install is super, super quick and seamless. And again, we've got enough room to get our hand in here and pull the oil catch can reservoir off, like so. Even if this can was totally full, I would still very easily be able to unthread it without even dumping it over and pull the can, dump it, and go from there. So guys, I will get a light in this thing so we can see what we're starting with. A totally bone dry reservoir here on our catch can. And again, guys, like I said, this is literally night one for me installing this catch can. I'm going to get some miles on this thing, so you guys aren't even gonna see this video until later on in my ownership, if you will. We're gonna have already made other videos with this thing, heck, even announcing that I bought it because I haven't even made that video yet. But like I said, night one mod was my JlUR catch can. So I'm gonna get some more miles on this thing. Make sure you check out the link down in the description to see if you've got a application and you can get one ordered for yourself. So I will see you guys in the future, which will be right now for you guys. All right, guys, and just like that, we are back here in the garage with a few more miles on the Jeep, and it's like the guys over at JlUR.com know what they're talking about on the 3.6 liter, taking in a lot of oil through the PCV valve system. Yeah, I've only driven 300 miles. I will show you guys obviously for proof, but I'm at like 346 miles, and I happened to check the catch can the other day, and yeah, there's already a decent amount in this thing. Now, one thing I didn't talk about in the first part of this video is me being a technician that works on Jeeps every single day. One thing you will notice occasionally when you take a 3.6 liter intake manifold off and set it on the ground, as you're lifting it off the engine sometimes, there will be a literal trail of oil pouring out of the intake manifold. You go set it on the ground upside down or on its side or whatever, and there is a literal puddle of oil coming out of that intake. It's pretty bad sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't seem too bad, and then other times you're literally wiping the vehicle off because you've left a trail of tears running out of that intake manifold. So, like I said, didn't say that in the beginning, but that being a technician, you see that quite often. So, back to my personal 3.6 here, we will go ahead and get this hood open and take a look at what we've already got in 300 miles on this thing. So here is my odometer proof as of today, if the camera will focus here. 346 miles, and that screen looks like it definitely needs to be wiped still. Okay, 346 miles, roughly 300 miles from when we installed, and like we already talked about, this can is really easy to check. You're still able to get your hand in here, unscrew the can, and without dumping it on its side and having everything run out of it, gosh. All right, guys, here is a flashlight. You can already see how much oil we've got in this thing right there in that bottom half, if you will. There you go. Now you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. That much oil is already sitting in the catch can. Not that that is some offensive amount of oil, even though it kind of is in 300 miles. That is unfortunately just how modern vehicles are. There's just a ton of oil going through the PCV valve system, which ends up in your intake manifold, which gets on your valves, and just isn't something that you want in an engine that you care about, if you will. Now, it will be interesting to see how quickly or not that can gets full. You know, am I able to go 5,000 miles? You know, it'll be interesting to check and see. I personally do my oil changes on my modern vehicles every 5,000 miles. So again, will I be able to go my full 5,000 miles without that can being totally full or not? Only time will tell. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how that does. So guys, if you're like me and a car guy and kind of care about your engine and you plan on keeping the vehicle for a decent amount of time, an oil catch can or oil separator is a really good and relatively cheap investment on your engine to help it perform, stay clean, otherwise be nice and tidy inside. And again, we're trying to prevent the quart of oil pooled up in the intake manifold that happens to be kind of a thing on the 3.6 liter. So guys, like we already talked about, go check out JlUR.com. I'll have the link down in the description. You'll be able to put your year, make, model, and engine and see what they've got for you guys. They have obviously a whole bunch of Mopar things, and again, they've got a whole bunch of different makes and models, and I'm happy to have their product on my personal vehicles. So check out the link down in the description, guys. And thanks for coming out in the garage on not night one anymore for me, and multiple videos already posted on this thing, but again, the first underhood mod on our new Jeep Wrangler JL with our 3.6 liter, and hopefully we'll be doing some suspension things next and some skid plate things next. And then finally we'll be taking this darn thing off-road. We are getting a trip actively planned as we speak, and hopefully we'll go out and get it dirty and actually use it, because I've seen some of those comments that have said, oh great, another mall crawler. This guy's not gonna do anything with this thing. But we do go wheeling here on this channel. You can go back and find some old Grand Cherokee videos of us actually wheeling, getting trail damage, doing all the things that we do off-road. And now we'll be doing it in a new JL, and that's a little bit painful, but that's what its purpose is in life, is to go off-road and to be a daily driver and to do all those things, hopefully, very well. So guys, thanks for coming out in the garage and doing our first engine mod. And guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.